What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell, Anthony Hartwig in with another edition of Coach's Corner, and always one of my favorite this time of year, too. We go into Beloit with the West Branch Warriors and girls basketball head coach, Mr. Walt DeShields. Coach, how are we doing today? How are practices looking for you guys?
Hey, awesome. There's a lot of energy in the gym. This is our eighth practice tonight. I thought we had a really great practice for Monday. A lot of good leadership in the gym, but just a lot of enthusiasm coming off a really great summer that we had. Went to a lot of different places. We went to Ohio State University, got to play on the shot and steam floor, went all the way down to Tennessee, Pat Summit Country, basketball heaven down there, and played down at the University of Tennessee and stayed in the cabin up in the mountains. It was just a great summer for us.
Coach, when you think of the things that you're taking from last year into this year, before we start talking about this season in general, let's quickly recap last year, the things that you saw from your girls and the things that you're taking from last year's team into this year.
Yeah, we had a rough year at the beginning. We had a lot of injuries in the beginning of the season and started out really, really slow. High expectations. We started out 1-6, lost a couple close games. We're 4-10 at one point in the season, and boy, our backs were against the wall for our program and our tradition. And we started getting healthy there a little beyond halfway of the season, and our girls stayed resilient in the gym. They kept fighting, kept getting better. We threw a lot of young girls in that you'll see this year right away into varsity games at the beginning of the year that probably weren't quite ready. And it'll help them out a lot this year. Once we got healthy, we finished 9-2. Lost to Canfield, real good team that won our district championship in the district semi. So we just got to stay healthy. That's one thing I want to take from last year this year. Let's stay healthy.
Looking at the 8 practices that you guys do have under your belt now, what are some of the players that you feel are going to make an impact? I'm sure one is going to be off the rip, but what are some of the players that are going to make an impact with this team?
It starts with our 5 seniors. Great leadership by them. They're a very positive group. They're a smart group. A lot of 4.0s there, and they're multi-sport athletes, so they understand how to compete, how to lead. They've been successful in all their sports at West Branch, and really looking forward to, it starts with Sophie Gregory, our 6'2" point guard, returning her 4th year. She was hurt quite a bit last year, but still led us in scoring, was second in rebounding, led us in assist. Just a dynamic player. I think sometime this week she's getting her papers from Youngstown State for signing for basketball there. Also returning starters, Olivia Showalter, our center. Really looking forward to seeing her to develop more. She had a good summer and has gotten stronger, more confident, and she's going to be really, a dynamic player inside for us. Chloe Dennison, who you probably saw on the floor last year starting for us, she's really gained a lot of confidence this summer in ball handling and shooting outside, which is going to be a big key for us. And then Michaela Woods, another 6'2" girl. In a small forward, really, with the size that we have, she can go inside and out and shoot outside and go inside and play. And she's gotten a lot stronger. And they're all a year older. That makes a difference. And then, of course, Bryn Smith. Bryn's a great role player and a great team player for us, and does all the little things for our team to, kind of that glue girl that keeps the team together and is always positive on a daily basis. We got 13 players in the mix, more than last year. Our depth, and again, because of those injuries last year, we've got 3 sophomores and 3 juniors that are fighting in that mix for playing time and starting time. The juniors, Carter Shepard, Presley Egley, and Maddie Hawk. All 2 of them lettered last year, and Carter and Maddie. Presley, coming from the JVs, gotten a lot better too. And then 3 sophomores that all lettered last year. And they were kind of those ones that were getting in the mix. Guard Ali Kanegi, some post players, and Hallie V. Burton and Tally Muniz. And then we got 2 freshmen. Our freshman team lost a total of 2 games in junior high and league champs in 7th and 8th grade. They're a really good group, a successful group. Coming up to high school, that's still a big jump. But Audrey Eaton and Ellie Tucker are who we're looking at right now, and there's a few other ones too.
Coach, when you talk about Sophie Gregory and obviously not being able to play all of last season with a little chunk of injury in there, how hungry have you seen her in the first 8 practices in the summer just to get back to a full season, have her senior season go as well as she possibly can, and to leave her stamp her last year at West Branch?
Well, I think she's very hungry along, like I said, with the rest of the players returning. 13 and 12 for us wasn't what we're used to or what we're expected to do. Our groups every year has higher expectations than that, and their goals this year are high. And so that was a mental struggle last year, and I think that's really going to help them this year. Certainly, Sophie's hungry, but they all are. She wants to prove herself. The team does. That we are a good team. I mean, we won the district their sophomore year, and many of them contributed to that district championship their sophomore year, and they want to get back to that. They want to fight for the league title. We've never won that in their 4 years, so that's a goal, and they want to get back into regionals and maybe beyond that. But the thing I've seen out of this team is they're focused, and they're very focused on game one. We got some scrimmages coming up, some really tests, some good teams starting this week with Green and Walsh Jesuit. Our home scrimmage has a lot of good teams: Mentor, Canton McKinley, Boardman, a lot of teams coming in. Poland's coming in. It's just we try to challenge them in the preseason to get better, but we want to get ready for that Friday night after Thanksgiving, that Black Friday game against Cardinal Mooney at home.
I know you guys are always one game at a time. That's just your coaching mentality, no doubt. But when I look at this team and I look at the height that you guys have, it really feels like this Canfield team of last year with the way that you guys can play basketball and the potential you have. I know you won't say that you guys are going to be that type of team, but I got to feel like you see that kind of potential with this team as well.
Yeah, there's just a tremendous amount of potential. And like I said, we've seen that in the summer, but potential only takes you so far, and talent. We're really trying to work on becoming a better defensive team. I thought Canfield got there last year. I mean, they shut us down in the district semi. I think we had 28 points, and that's it goes back to that old adage: defense wins championships. And I think this team's really hungry to play better defensively than they have the past couple years, and that's one of our major goals, is to get a lot better defensively and make it tougher to score on us. And then offensively, you never know. We know what players that are back, but some of the girls that are coming off the bench, you need some contribution from them. And it's going to be really fun to watch and to see who contributes at that end of the floor. But for us right now, it's going to start with our defensive game.
Coach, when we talk about your schedule, obviously you said it, one of the big goals is to win the EBC and give these seniors their first league championship of their career. This EBC is really tough. It's always really tough. What do you see out of the EBC this year? Where do you think you guys fit into it?
Well, I mean, we certainly feel like if we're healthy, we fit right in it. Carrollton's up and coming. They've got a really good senior class and a sophomore class that is mixing together and has worked really hard in the off season. We saw them on a couple camps. They're getting a lot better. They're going to surprise a lot of people and be fighting for the league title. Alliance has everybody back. Their senior class they got 7 or 8 seniors that have really gone through all the fire and all the battles from their freshman year up. So he's expecting big things out of them. And those are 2 teams you don't hear much about, but they're going to be right up at the top. We all know what Salem has done, and they got Hutton and Barton, 2 guards, and great guard play. And, Evanich over there at Marlington, she's a competitor and hates to lose. So our league is really, really always really good. And it's nice to see that. Marlington's volleyball team down in Dayton this weekend for the state volleyball tournament. And, just seeing that kind of stuff, that success. And Minerva's cross-country team won the state championship. So, and our football team's still playing. So our league is a really, really good Division II league.
It's absolutely a very good league, and there's going to be all kinds of fun league matchups throughout the course of the season, no doubt. You talk about this team and where the potential that you guys have this season. I mean, looking at the type of brand of basketball you expect to play with this Warrior squad. Obviously, we don't expect the whole book to be given away, but is it going to be much of the same of what we've seen, or do we see any tweaks or changes in the brand of West Branch basketball this year?
We're going to change some things. We're really trying to use our depth to our advantage, and of course our height to our advantage. Trying to get those mismatches and score where they're comfortable scoring. Every team's going to do that, and but we're going to try to change some things. And I know, just being a year older, they're a lot better at what we're trying to do, our schemes and stuff, offensively and defensively. And it seems like they're picking things up a lot easier. So we're trying to keep it a little simpler, and so we can just let them be athletes and play.
Coach, we always like to give you guys the chance to highlight your staff and the people that are with you with West Branch and making this program what it is. So I want to give you the time to highlight the coaches that are working with you from the junior high all the way up until the high school, and the people that we know that are behind you making this program what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with at the top with our assistant coaches, Bob Shepard. Bob's on that football staff, so he brings that winning attitude with the football team the past several years, the success that they've had. He's our post coach. He coached a while ago with Chuck Campbell back in the 90s when they were really good. He was their JV coach, and then took off some time with his kids. Had two sons and a daughter that's on the team, Carter. And he does a great job for us. Our JV coach, Lou Celaroli. I mean, Lou's been at West Branch for 40 years. He's been the head boys basketball coach a couple times. He's coached with the girls. His wealth of knowledge, just unbelievable. And he works with our guards. Mike Butcher has been with the program for 36 straight years. You can't ask enough. He was last year voted in the state of Ohio as one of the top assistant coaches in the state of Ohio for OHSAA. Well deserving for Mike, the dedication and time he's put in. Not being a teacher, he's comes to practice a little later after work, and he's there on Saturdays and all the games. But the girls get a lot of knowledge from him, and he's very positive with them. In the middle school, Tony Lucente has been with us a couple years, and then Chris Adams has been with me for 19 years as me being the head coach there. He's been our 7th grade coach, and he's a great starter coach for us to bring in girls in 7th grade.
I like the family across the chest. And I mean, my personal love of the sport of basketball too. I feel like that's what unites everyone that comes together in the season, whether that be on the sidelines, on the court, in the press box too. It's always the love of the sport. It's a running theme I've been asking all the coaches this season, and I'm interested for you especially, Coach, where that love for the sport of basketball started. Do you have a pinpoint moment, a time period that you remember falling in love with the sport?
Oh, probably between 7th and 8th grade. In 7th grade, I was 5'7", and I was the last player on the team. I sat on the end of the bench, but was still hungry to play and be a good player, and scored 2 points. I got lucky. I got an offensive rebound on a missed foul shot, and I think I threw it to the top of the backboard, and it luckily dropped in after about 4 bounces on the rim. But that was my only 2 points that season. Well, the following year, I worked hard that summer. Got lucky. I got up to about 6'3" in 8th grade. Ended up being 6'5". I played for Salem, believe it or not. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. That is our backyard rival. So there's always a friendly family. My sister taught there, and we all went to school at Salem. And but anyway, I ended up being the leading scorer in 8th grade, and then went on to have a good career there and at Salem. And I think that's when I fell in love with it. I had a varsity coach come down to me and teach me how to shoot the basketball the right way. I used to shoot two-handed. I was like throwing it up like that. And he's like, son, you got to shoot the ball one-handed and shoot like that, not two-handed. So I worked on that, and I guess my mom, I used to get in trouble and she'd send me to my bedroom and I would just shoot it laying on my back in bed, or whenever I had a chance to shoot the ball, I shot it and it paid off, and really fell in love with the sport then. And, all them old coaches like Bobby Knight, God rest his soul. And, those kind of guys, you grew up in those old school days where, get the ball inside. There's no 3-point line back then. So let's get the ball inside, get a good shot. And, that's where I fell in love with it.
Walt DeShields getting in trouble with his mom as a kid. I don't buy it. Don't buy it for a second.
All the time,
Coach, we can't let you go. I cannot let you go. Cannot let you go without asking about your first year as an assistant in the volleyball program, being on the bench that whole season and helping out that team. What was that like for you to be not the head coach, but still be able to help out the girls on the volleyball team?
Hey, it's a lot easier to move down to that second seat. I had a lot of fun. It was a blast. The girls, treated me well. I got along with them. It's a little different, with being the head coach. They kind of look at me like I'm the bad cop, and my assistant's a good cop. In that situation, I was the good cop. So if my wife got on them about something, they'd come over and I'd just pat them on the back. Hey, come on, you can do it. You're a good player, all that kind of stuff. So I had a blast. I really did. And, I learned a lot from my wife. She's a great coach. She was coach of the year this year in the league and the EBC. And, we had a really good season. And they got a young group, a lot of good players coming back. But it was just a lot of fun for me. I wasn't sure at first, because volleyball, I've watched it for a long time. But, coaching it, I'm kind of a coach. I look at athletes and I kind of give her advice, but I step back. She knows a heck of a lot more than I do.
Well, Coach, we know what you know, and we know you know basketball pretty well, and we're so excited to see what this West Branch team looks like this year. I know both myself and Anthony are probably going to cross your path more than once this season, so we're excited to see you. We're definitely going to be rooting for all the success of the girls and yourself as well. As this has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the legend himself, Mr. Walt DeShields.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, and have a good night, guys. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.